Hi guys, I'm here with my horse Teddy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to cut a mane. So let's get started. Okay, so there's 3 tools you're going to need in order to do this. So the first one is a pair of scissors. I just like these because they're easy to fit my fingers into and they're just nice and straight across. You're going to want to go for the straight across ones because you're going to want a nice even cut. The other 2 tools I like to use are these 2 Oster brushes. This one's kind of just a nice big mane and tail brush, and I always use these just to brush out the mane before I cut it. And then this brush is just a nice straight comb. Some people use like the ones that are about this wide and just are straight across, but I like this one because it's a more even cut and I don't know, it just looks better and it's easier to use because it's got a handle. So yeah, that's what you're going to want to go for. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this Oster brush. I hope I'm saying the name right, but this is the one you're going to take, this big one, and you're just going to brush out his mane to make sure that there's no shavings or hay in it. And you want to... Okay, so our next step is going to be cutting the mane itself. So we're going to want to take our straightaway brush, determine the length of the hair that we want the hair. For Teddy, since he's a Western Pleasure horse, I'm going to keep it about 2 inches to 3 inches long. So if you figure that's about 4 fingers, so I just put my fingers like that, and I figured this is about the length we're going to go for. Okay, so now we're going to take our straightaway brush and our scissors, and we're just going to cut a little bit longer than we want the mane, just in a fairly straight line. I like to keep about 4 inches off, and you want to make sure you try to get it fairly straight, and we'll go back and shorten this and clean it up. And you want to make sure when doing this you don't cut the fur underneath because that's not good, because it looks very bad. So that's your first cut. I always start back here because I think it's easier. So I take my scissors and my brush and I just kind of comb it down like this, and I just go right along the teeth of the comb like this, so that you get a nice even cut. And you want to keep it fairly level, and if you see any stray hairs you can just kind of clean them up. That's like these right here. Okay. And you're just going to cut right along those teeth. There we go. We'll clean that up. You just want to make sure that the horse is fairly quiet, so if you need someone to hold the front of him, you should do that, because you don't want to goof it up. If I'm going to a show, I always do this a few weeks before the show, so that if I mess up, the hair has a little bit of time to grow out. So I can go back and redo it, so it looks good. So now that it's fairly straight, we're going to go back and we're just going to clean everything up. So I just kind of eyeball it. I look at it and I make sure my horse is nice and straight. So again, if you need someone to hold your horse, you definitely should do that. So I like this technique better than pulling because I think it's a little bit easier, and I think that it's easier on the horse even though they say they can't feel it. But I end up liking the results better too. I just think the hair looks cleaner and it's easier to band or braid or whatever you're doing. So I always like to use this method. Then you always want to look for what's underneath. A lot of times you just see the top layers, but like see these little scraggles underneath, we're going to want to just cut those because that can make a big difference in your horse's mane. It just makes it look a lot neater and better looking. Figure that's about what we want, the length that I want. So now I'm just gonna brush it out. I always brush it out after I get the length and everything that I want, because sometimes like these hairs here get stuck up in there. So I always brush it so I can go back and just chop them off. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!